Caitlin Clark stands up for Angel Reese, the untold story behind the NCAA championship drama. The roar inside the arena was deafening. Flash bulbs flickered, cameras zoomed, and millions of eyes locked on two young women. Standing at the center of the court, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, two forces of nature whose rivalry had defined an era of college basketball. But what the world didn't see in the glare of championship lights was what came after the final buzzer, the quiet moment when competition gave way to compassion, when rivalry turned into respect. That moment became the spark for a story few ever told, the one where Caitlin Clark, America's golden girl of college hoops, stood up for her fiercest opponent, Angel Reese, amid one of the most polarizing controversies in NCAA history. The game that became a movement. The 2023 NCAA Women's Championship wasn't just a game. It was a cultural event. LSU versus Iowa, Reese versus Clark, power versus precision, confidence versus calm. From the first tip-off, the energy was electric. Caitlin Clark, the smooth shooting phenom from Iowa, was in her zone. Deep threes, laser passes, and that unshakable poise that made her a household name. On the other side stood Angel Reese, the Bayou Barbie. Fierce, unapologetic, magnetic, her energy filled the court. She played not just to win, but to represent, to stand tall for. Every young woman told she was too bold or too loud. When LSU clinched a title, it should have been a celebration of excellence of history made. But in the final moments, the now infamous "you can't see me" gesture, Angel Reese's symbolic taunt to Clark lit the internet on fire. Within minutes, the narrative changed. Not unless you are champions. Not women's basketball has arrived. But was Angel Reese disrespectful? The noise was deafening. Pundits, fans, politicians, everyone had something to say. The line between confidence and arrogance blurred, and at the center of the storm stood two young athletes, one vilified, the other inadvertently glorified. The silence before the storm. Caitlin Clark watched the headlines unfold with disbelief. The girl who spent her entire season playing with fire, passion, and swagger, the same kind Angel Reese displayed suddenly, became the unintended hero of a controversy she never wanted. Reporters hounded her. What do you think of Reese's taunt? Did you feel disrespected? Should there be consequences? But Clark, ever composed, didn't take the bait. She paused and simply said she shouldn't be criticized for that. Angel played great. She deserved her moment. That one line, calm, clear, and confident, changed everything. The stand that changed a narrative. In the days that followed, the noise around Angel Reese reached a fever pitch. Commentators labeled her classless. Social media spiraled into racial and gender-filled debates. But Caitlin Clark refused to stay silent. In a live ESPN interview, she doubled down. I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. I think she should be celebrated. She played amazing basketball. We both played with emotion. That's how this game should be played. It was more than sportsmanship. It was leadership. In that moment, Caitlin Clark did what few athletes her age would dare to do. She stood up not for herself, but for her rival. She recognized the bigger picture, that this wasn't about a hand gesture or trash talk, but about how society often treats confident women differently, especially women of color. And she chose empathy over ego. Inside Caitlin's mind, behind that calm composure, was a storm of reflection. Caitlin had spent her whole career being called intense, competitive, and fiery. All compliments, when applied to her, but she watched as Angel Reese was labeled cocky, rude, even ungracious for the same traits. The double standard gnawed at her. We play the same way. Caitlin would later tell a friend, we both talk, we both celebrate, we both compete, but one of us gets called confident, and the other gets called disrespectful. That's not right. That awareness marked a shift from rivalry to solidarity, from athlete to advocate, the private encounter. After the game, away from cameras and noise, there was a moment no one saw. Until now, in the tunnel beneath the roaring stadium, Caitlin Clark found Angel residing alone, her championship, medal around her neck, her phone buzzing with hundreds of messages, many supportive but some venomous. Caitlin walked over. No fanfare, no press, just two competitors. You were incredible out there, Caitlin said softly. Angel looked up, a mix of exhaustion and disbelief on her face. You mean that? Yeah, Caitlin nodded. You earned it. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Angel exhaled, the weight of the world easing, if only for a second. That brief exchange, unseen by cameras, unheard by reporters, was a start of mutual respect, even friendship. The world reacts. When Clark's words defending Angel went public, everything shifted. Fans who've been quick to criticize began to rethink. The narrative of villain versus hero crumbled. Suddenly, the story wasn't about rivalry. It was about unity, respect, and the evolution of women's basketball. Social media flooded with support. Caitlin Clark just showed what true sportsmanship looks like. She turned a controversy into a lesson. Women lifting women. This is how the game grows. Even Reese herself responded, publicly tweeting, respect to Caitlin. Real recognized real. What began as a clash of personalities had transformed into a shared mission to elevate the game and redefine what it means to compete fiercely and respectfully. The legacy of rivalry. Months later, the two stars found themselves once again at the center of the basketball universe. This time, in a professional spotlight of the WNBA, the lesson that lasts years from now, when sports historians talk about that fateful NCAA championship, they won't just talk about the scoreline or the taunts. They'll talk about the stand, about how one athlete refused to let another be torn down, about how rivalry birthed respect, about how two young women turned controversy into connection. The real legacy of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese isn't about who scored more points or won more titles. It's about how they changed the way the world looks at women's sports, not as a sideshow, but as a force of its own, filled with complexity, courage, and conviction. They show that true strength isn't just measured in wins. It's measured in how you treat those who challenge you. Epilogue, a new era. Today, both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese stand as the twin pillars of revolution. They're rivals, yes, but also allies in purpose. Their games draw record-breaking viewership. Their names inspire millions of young girls, and their friendship sends a powerful message. Competition doesn't have to divide. Greatness doesn't have to isolate. And respect, even between the fiercest opponents, can rewrite history. As the lights dim in arenas across America and little girls pick up basketballs, dreaming of their own championship moment, somewhere they'll remember the story of Caitlin Clark, standing up for Angel Reese, the story that proved that in the hard competition, there's room for compassion, too. Because legends aren't just made by how they play, they're defined by what they stand for. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till